Hi. What's up, guys? Popula here with another video. I know I promised you guys a few weeks back that I'd be doing a top 5 fan theory video, but see, the issue is that I didn't really have that many responses. I thought I would get a lot more responses than I actually did, but so what I plan on doing is going through each response and give you my opinion on it, what I think is going to happen, you know? And so, yeah, I think we should have a good time with this. As you can tell, I'm doing this kind of off script, so you can get a genuine reaction from me, knowing exactly what I think about it, you know? Instead of having it, like, through editing and whatnot. Because editing is hard. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. Alright, well, let's jump into the first theory, actually. We're actually just going to be going straight through the Google form, so that you guys can... Yeah, I will give credit to whoever gave the theory, but I think some of them are pretty good. Alright, so we got our first theory, and this one is from SHAPIRO. I think he's in my Discord server. I could be wrong. But I think they're going to make the next generation of Avengers. Just maybe Peter Parker will be the next Iron Man. He will be the next leader of the Avengers. Now that will be epic. Honestly, I agree. I could see Peter Parker being like the next Tony Stark in a way. I mean, they seem to be hinting at it a lot in Spider-Man Far From Home. And so it wouldn't surprise me if that's what they were going for. The only issue that I see with it right now is that he's a whole lot younger than the main cast right now. Like, Black Panther's a lot older, but he's a king, you know? I could see Doctor Strange kind of being the next Tony Stark in a way. I know that sounds weird, but when you think about it, he has a lot of knowledge about the astral realm. He has a lot of knowledge of just everything in general, because I mean, he is the Grand Master. And so I could see him doing being the next Iron Man, creating new innovations and stuff like that, the more logical thinker. But as Peter grows up, that I could see that happening. As Peter gets older, he could kind of mentor Miles Morales as the next Spider-Man, while Peter Parker is kind of retired Iron Man in a sense, you know? But this would be like far, far future, you know? But right now it seems like what they're working at is that they want Peter to be the next Iron Man. That's at least from the hints in the Spider-Man Far From Home trailer. I guess we will see when that movie comes out, which I'm super excited about, by the way. I'm planning on seeing that opening day. But yeah, next theory. This theory is from Professor... Wow, I have a lisp, man. Help me. Help me. Professor SEATBELT, or Prof. SEATBELT. Thanos destroyed the Infinity Stones. What if in doing so he released an all-powerful characters? Like with the Power Stone being destroyed, it released Galactus. Or like the Mind Stone, it released Dark Phoenix, which the X-Men are likely to be on their way into the MCU any year now. I don't know, it's just some random thoughts I've been talking about with some others. Honestly, I could see that happening. You have to think. The Infinity Stones have been used 4 times that we know of. So, once, when Thanos originally snapped in Infinity War. The second time, at the beginning of Endgame, when he destroyed the stones. A third time, when Hulk snapped to bring everyone back. And then a fourth time, when Iron Man snapped to get rid of Thanos' army. So, in the beginning, they kind of showed how big of an energy burst that it is. I mean, you see it when Rocket is showing when the energy burst goes throughout, that disperse. You have to think that probably has some effects. And that's why the alternate with the multiverse is showing up. I feel like Spider-Man Far From Home is actually going to answer a lot of questions and set up for the next phase, which is why I'm super excited about it. But they do actually hint, they don't hint, they just tell you that there's a multiverse. But using the stones, in doing so, opened up the multiverse. And so I could see it releasing some other beings, whether it be Galactus, whether it be Annihilus. Honestly, I'd like to see Kang too. There's a lot of possibilities for this to go. Next theory. Okay, this one's a long one. Bear with us, all right? This one is from Lucky LUCA, or Al the Alligator on YouTube, but I appreciate all the work you put in this. So I'm really sorry about this, but this theory was so long that I had to cut it for time's sake. I'll cut to the main part of the theory, but this beginning part that I'm kind of fast forwarding through is basically him going over what movies he thinks are going to come out next, things he'd like to see and whatnot, like World Breaker Hulk, and then also in the new Professor Hulk film, a Ronin movie, a White Wolf movie, a Captain Marvel sequel, stuff like that. He wants to see World Breaker Hulk, but for time's sake, I have to skip over part of it, but I'm going to get to the main part of his theory because it's actually a really good theory. Disney has bought the X-Men and Fantastic Four, so that's going to be the focus later in Phase 4. Far From Home is apparently introducing parallel universes, possibly introducing the mutants through there. Or they could get a gene from the Infinity Stones, as we see Thanos destroying the stones sent to the blast. Probably magical, whatever that means. Gamma radiation across the universe. In a way, Scarlet Witch, Quicksilver would be the first mutants getting enhanced genes from an Infinity Stone. That would also make Captain Marvel a mutant as well, though. I believe Spider-Man is going to be the leading character of the MCU moving on. As we see him growing up and taking the mantle of Iron Man, he's going to lead the way to be an introduction to the X-Men, which means Magneto and Apocalypse, and eventually to the Fantastic Four, which means Galactus. Maybe we could have the Clintars, Venom species, the important part. Maybe Null, which honestly I don't know much about. Null is the creator of the Clintars, which is Venom species. If you notice in everything I've mentioned, Celestials seem to play an important part in them. Star-Lord is half Celestial, which could become important. Null is a Celestial. Nowhere is the head of a Celestial. The Collector's demonstration of the power's undestructive power features Celestial wielding a staff that looked remarkably like Galactus, and so on. Celestials have always been a mysterious recurring part of the MCU, and they seem to be closely linked to the Infinity Stone somehow. So yeah, in conclusion, I think Spider-Man is going to lead the way throughout Phase 4, which is going to introduce mutants, and Celestials are going to be playing an important part. They've used Celestials this entire time as this kind of piece in Guardians of the Galaxy especially, you know, they're like, yo, the Celestials are all powerful and stuff like that. I'd like to see him do a little bit more with the Watchers, but I could definitely see the Celestials being a big part. As for the Clintars that you talked about, I have heard rumors that since there's a multiverse... Oh no. Are we still recording? My monitor went off. Oh no. Okay. As for the Clintars, I've heard some theories. Nothing is confirmed right now. Tom Holland is on a 6-movie deal with Marvel right now. And Marvel's and Sony's deal is a 6-movie deal. He can have 3 solo films, and he can have 3 co-films. So like Civil War and Avengers Infinity War and Avengers Endgame, since he isn't a main character, but he's a part of it. So they still have 2 solo movies left. So they're probably going to have to rebroker a deal in order to do so, in order to keep using him in the way they want, whether that be just renegotiating how many movies he can be used in, or just completely buying the rights. All of the other Spidey characters, though, they don't have all of them. To get back on point, the main theory that people are having is that Sony is a part of a different universe as regular Spidey. And so, in the trailer of Spider-Man Far From Home, they talk about the portals opening. You know, the multiverse opening. So, in doing so, this could bring Venom over to the MCU, which could introduce the Clintars. You know, we already have Flash Thompson, so we could have an Agent Venom. Although, if they want to do an Agent Venom, they need to recast Flash Thompson. He's too small. They need to have like a bad Flash Thompson. I could see it happening, but in turn, if Sony doesn't want to give any more rights, renegotiate, they can take Tom Holland and use that whole multiverse thing and put him in a Sony movie and have him help Venom or fight Venom or whatever they want to do with it. I'd also like to see a little bit more of the Watchers. The Watchers are a huge thing throughout it, and I mean, they've shown them in like Easter eggs and stuff like that, but they're way more powerful than you think, you know? Especially with like Stan Lee talking to him, you know, that's how you know they're powerful. All right, this next one is a short one. It's from Joseph. I believe that later on in MCU's long road of movies, someone will introduce Tony as an AI for Spider-Man suit, and maybe for Morgan not to grow up without a fatherly figure. See, here's my issue with that. I could see it happening, but at the same time, I'd only like him to show up in like recordings of himself. I would not like an AI of Tony Stark, because then I feel like it would be forced, and I would feel like it would trying to get more money out of people, you know. It wouldn't feel, because his death, it made me cry. It made half the world cry, honestly. And it meant so much that he sacrificed himself. And to bring him back as an AI, I feel like that would be a little demeaning to the sacrifice. It would kind of counteract it. But I would love to see like old recordings of him, like maybe like a list of recordings he left for Morgan, guiding her through things, you know, just being like a typical dad or whatnot. just old videos of him talking about it or holograms or whatever. I feel like that would be a really good way to pay homage to him, but I would not like him as an AI. That's just my personal opinion. This next one is from another Joseph, Joseph Jaramillo. That Professor Hulk and Clint are going to go to the Soul World and free Natasha and possibly Gamora in the Black Widow solo film. Okay, so I don't think that they're going to do that because it was already confirmed by Kevin Feige and then both Russo brothers that whoever's in the Soul Realm, whatever you want to call it, is there permanently. Yes, she has a solo film. Yes, she does, coming out in the sense. If they're going to do it, it should probably be a prequel. My personal theory on what they're going to do with Black Widow, and honestly, I've been sharing this around a little bit. Hawkeye and Black Widow keep talking about Budapest. They always mention Budapest. I think they do it in the first Avengers, Age of Ultron, and then they also do it in Endgame, where he's like, "This is a long way from Budapest." He always says that. And they keep bringing it up, so I feel like we might see a movie of the Budapest scene. I could definitely see that. But what are they going to do with it? How are you going to have a prequel be tied into the next phase? Well, the way I see it being tied in is they could introduce a greater threat, per se. Like, kind of like how Guardians of the Galaxy introduced Thanos. It could be that they found something that they agreed to never talk about or bring up to other people, and that it was so bad that they didn't want to talk about it and whatnot. And that could have consequences in the future, and that could set up the next big bad, whether it be like a Kang or a something that they found, like a meteorite they found, maybe like for the Clintars and whatnot. I don't know what who the big bad guy is gonna be or anything, but this is what I could see happening for the Black Widow solo movie. For the future, I don't think she's coming back. I think she's dead for sure, unless they go back in time and do it. But it wouldn't be the same Natasha. I don't know. God, my voice is like, I'm losing my voice. I'm kind of talking loud. I'm sorry, guys. You don't deserve to go through this. All right, next theory. This one is from NOBLEWOLVES. I believe that in Spider-Man Far From Home, Mysterio will not be a villain but an anti-hero. Kind of like how Catwoman is to Batman, without the romance, obviously. I believe that there will be another person who's giving Mysterio his powers and pulling the strings. And I believe that character will be Namor. After the snap, Namor will probably come to the surface and help out a human so he can slowly concoct some sort of plan. I'm not sure what. I believe this because of the way Mysterio fights in the water tornado. And also how his suit looks, which looks akin to something of ancient ornate like the Master of the Mystics arts. This could also be the Atlanteans, whom Namor rules. This person can also be Mordor. Oh, Mordor. I think you mean Modor. I think that's his name. What's his name? Mordo. That's what it is, not Mordor. Mordo, the guy from Doctor Strange, who ends up defecting at the end of the movies from the Sorcerers. He could be behind Mysterio's mystic art duty to protect the world from those titan monsters we'll see in the trailer. He could, during the movie, turn on Nick Fury and start being more selfish, or being less obvious in his dealings with Namor as his envoy, as Mysterio usually does turn out to be the anti-hero from False Hero. So, I read the comics a lot, and I never really thought of Mysterio as an anti-hero, which I could see it happening. The way it looks right now is that Mysterio is looking like an anti-hero, but I do enjoy the theory about Namor, because Marvel doesn't really know what to, in the comics at least, doesn't really know what to do with Namor, because currently he's a villain, but like he's helped the Avengers, he's helped Dark Avengers, he's helped the X-Men, all of them, you know, but he also ends up being bad and whatnot. I think he's kind of an anti-hero, but like a really, really bipolar anti-hero. I think the theory of Mordo fits a little bit better than Namor, but I think you're on the right track. I could see it happening. Next theory. I really like this next theory. This one's actually like a really fun one. This theory is from PRINCESSBOO. I have a theory for Mysterio in Far From Home. I know there's a lot, but I think many of them are a bit predictable. I believe / want to see that the Mysterio we see in the trailers is from another Earth in the multiverse, and on that Earth he is a real hero. But there's also a Mysterio on the main MCU Earth, where everything has been taking place so far. He's still living life as a special effects artist and all that. He sees Mysterio from the trailers on the TV. Doesn't matter where, but maybe his like home or apartment, maybe a bar, doesn't matter. But he sees his face and he realizes someone else out there is being him and being a hero. He doesn't like that and thinks he can do better. He makes tech and gizmos and such to try and replicate the costume and powers, and sets out to be an even better hero than himself, using lies, illusion, of course. The other world Mysterio dies, the main universe Mysterio is pretending to be him. Boom, perfect villain setup. Sorry, my reading's really bad, but I like that a lot. I could totally see that happening, having a Mysterio. Because, yeah, you have to think that there is definitely a Mysterio on this Earth. So, as opposed to the last theory we just heard, that he's being controlled by someone, this theory shows that there is a good Mysterio out there. But since we know the Mysterio in the comics to be like a really bad and stuff like that, this could be a perfect setup for him to take over this role. This theory is from Broccoli Joe. They might start bringing in big characters / villains. This theory is from High. They all die. This next theory is from Solo. My theory is probably like others, but whatever. So I think Galactus is the next big bad. I know that they already tried in the Fantastic Four, but you didn't get much action. And as a lot of you know, Disney bought Fox, which did own them. Also, I watched a lot of videos on this, finding Easter eggs and other little hints on what's next. I swear I saw a glimpse of Galactus. And also, at the end of Endgame, people who stayed heard a sound which sounded like Tony making his armor, which is probably true, but it could also hint to the next saga, which is possibly the Young Avengers. I 99.9% believe that Galactus, the Planet Eater, is the next big bad. It's a perfect way to introduce Fox heroes like the Fantastic Four, and it would be all around cool to see Galactus in the MCU movie. Hope this makes a video. I agree. I feel like Galactus would be a great big bad. There's so much to him. I personally would like to see a Doctor Doom. Doctor Doom is such a cool character, and like there is so much that has been untapped about him in the Fantastic Four movies, that he's just so cool. Like, bring in Doom bots and whatnot. Like, he could literally make his own army, like another Age of Ultron movie, just with Doom bots instead of Ultron things. Hey guys, thanks for watching this video. I actually had so much fun making it and actually talking and interacting with you guys. If you guys want this more like less scripted type video, I know this wasn't one of my typical videos, but if you want more of that, please let me know. Make sure to join my Discord and follow me on Twitch. There's a lot of good things coming. I'll see you guys in the next video.